So modern cars use a lot of plastic. In fact, statistically, over 50% of the cars being made today contain some kind of plastic in them. And one of the biggest reasons is because it's cheaper, it's more economical, but also reduces weight for better gas mileage. Now, the problem with exterior black plastic trim is over time it fades and it becomes kind of ugly. There's also another phenomenon that takes place called zebra striping. And what zebra striping is there's bands, stress bands in the actual plastic component. And when they're exposed to UV rays from the sun, what that does is it causes the plastic to sort of really just kind of disintegrate. And the visual effect is we see white stripes next to black. So you see what's called the zebra stripe effect. So there's really only one way to fix that. And I'm going to demonstrate that in this video. Another common problem is also staining. For example, if a detailer were to detail this 2019 Infiniti QX50 and they don't cover up the plastic trim around the fenders and other components that are on the car, and they cream over that with their buffing compound polish or their AIO, a lot of times that'll impregnate into the pebbled texture of the plastic, and it's almost impossible to get out. But I'm going to show you how to fix that too, so follow along. Okay, so as you can see right here, there's some banding going on right here. It looks like zebra stripes, and it's actually throughout all the plastic and pretty much all the plastic on this car. It's 5 years old. This is a daily driver in Florida sun, so it's exposed to the UV rays, and that's what causes this banding here. So once this happens, you can apply a dressing, and that'll darken it, but a better approach is to use a product from Solution Finish. I happen to have some right here. I want to shake this well before you use this. And this is a unique product in that what this is carbon black that's been milled to the size of a virus. Okay, so now it can get into the plastic. But starting this process starts with washing your car. And this morning when I arrived here, I washed the whole car. I took a nylon brush and a little bit of degreaser, and I washed all the plastic on the car just to make sure everything's off that plastic so the Solution Finish can get into it. Now to use this, because this is basically a dye, okay? This is not a dressing, it's not a protectant. In fact, I'm gonna show you that after we're done restoring a dark black color to this, that we need to put a dressing or a protectant over it to kind of seal the surface and lock the dye in, lock Mother Nature out. But this is kind of messy, so you do want to wear some nitrile gloves, okay? If you get this on your hands, it'll wash off, but just take my word for it. And then any applicator pad that you use, here's a cotton applicator, here's some foam applicators, here's a microfiber towel. When you're working with the Solution Finish, just understand that these components, these items are going to get stained too. So don't use your best microfiber towel, just say for show car detailing, to wipe off any Solution Finish that gets on the paint. The good news is if you get some on the paint, and I always do, it just wipes right off. It's not a big deal. Okay, so start by shaking. And this is just a cotton applicator pad. And I'm just going to start putting some of this right around the edge of this pad here. Let me show you that on camera. Okay, just like that. Okay, now before I start, something I wanted to do, I wanted to put a tape line down. The whole reason for the tape line is always just because it makes the before and after difference a lot more dramatic. Okay, now there's my Solution Finish, and I'm just going to come in and start massaging this into that plastic. I want to work this in really good. And then after you get it worked in really well, you want to let it sit there and penetrate. Oops, I got some on the after side. Oh, please don't make it look good. I want it to be ugly. Okay, I always talk about preserving the ugly when you're doing before and afters. Let that kind of penetrate and soak in, and then go ahead and take a microfiber towel or even a cotton towel, just something clean, and come in and you want to wipe off any excess. And then the next thing you would do is you would go ahead and finish the whole component out and then put your protector and your dressing on. But before I put the dressing on, I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. And then maybe you can zoom in and show the difference. Let me do a little work down there. Okay, there's the difference. So the Solution Finishes went into the plastic. It's restored a dark, natural factory looking black sheen, not a shine. And you can see the banding is still over here. So it actually does fix the problem, at least visually. And then the next thing you'd want to do is just go ahead and apply this and work your way around the car. And let me just show you, if I get some on the paint, there's a whole bunch on the paint right there. It's not a big deal. Just come back with your microfiber towel and wipe it off. Usually the sooner's better. If you don't get it all the way off and it dries, you can come back with a spray detailer, a little bit of car wash soap. Sometimes the worst is maybe just a light polish. It'll come right off. It is not formulated to stick to urethane paint. Okay, so then after letting it penetrate, you want to take and wipe any excess off. And you could stop right there, but like I said before, this is not a protectant. It is a dye, basically. So now you want to seal that surface. Now to seal that surface, we got a product here from Dr. Beasley's that's specifically formulated for this. This is the plastic sealant. And for this, I'm going to use a foam applicator pad. And I'm just going to take and put some on there. It comes out as a rich, thick cream. And then take and apply this over the solution finish. Then you want to let this kind of penetrate and set up after about 30 seconds. You know, if you're working outside, maybe a little quicker because if it's warm outside, it doesn't really dry. But massage that in really well. You see, you pull a little bit of the solution finish off. Let me fold to a clean side on my microfiber towel. And then come down here and just wipe off the excess. And boom, it probably looks better than it came from the factory. That looks really good. Now, then the question is, well, how long will this last? Well, first of all, the plastic didn't last from the factory. So probably anything you pour out of a bottle or squeeze out of a tube is going to last any longer. So the real key with keeping all the plastic on your vehicle, whether it's a Jeep with all the plastic trim, a Mini Cooper, this QX50, I mean, so many cars have this around the mirrors, around the windshield wipers, cladding on the sides, around the bumpers. There's so much of this stuff. So the real key is to put this plastic on a regular maintenance program. Say maybe once or twice a year, treat the plastic. Look at it after you wash it. If you start to see the banding coming back and everything's kind of wearing off, just reapply. It's pretty quick, fast, and simple. But the real secret to keeping your plastic looking good is when your car is still brand new and the trim looks brand new, right then and there, put that car on a regimen of the solution finish and the plastic sealant to keep that looking like factory new. What most people do is when they buy a brand new car is they don't do anything because it looks good. So it looks good, so they don't do anything. Then they wash the car, they drive the car, a couple years go by, and then they start to look at the car and go, oh, look, the plastic's fading. Well, now all the damage is done. So you didn't do anything preventative. So the time to actually start doing this is when it's brand new. I know you're thinking, well, it's brand new, I shouldn't have to do anything. Well, I'm sorry to say, but UV rays from the sun don't care if something's brand new. They're going to start causing damage right away. Anyway, you can get all these products up at the drbeasleys.com website. And of course, if you ever have any questions, then you can always get a hold of me. But let me go ahead and finish this. And I'm going to go up here, and I've actually got some staining up here from a compound. This is how it came from when I bought this car. There's already a compound stain up there. And I'll show you how to fix it using the same process. As you can see right here, this is either some compound or some polish splatter. It's here, it's actually down there, and there's some spots down over there. And what this means is somebody was probably polishing this paint. They didn't cover this up with some protective paint. They creamed over this plastic with their buffing pad, and now they've stained it. And one thing I want to point out is I scrubbed this with a nylon brush and a degreaser this morning, and it really had no effect. So what happens is when someone gets some polish or compound on this, it's pebble textured, so it has a texture. It gets down into the little tiny cracks and crevices, or what are called interstices, very microscopic cracks and crevices, and then wiping or scrubbing won't get it out. It's there permanently. So it's always better to tape this kind of trim off if you're going to do some paint correction, and just avoid the whole headache versus trying to come back after the fact and fix it. But the repair is going to be the same way I just did the banding, the zebra stripes. So here's my applicator pad. I'm just going to apply a little bit onto here. And then watch this. This will completely eliminate the problem. So just take and massage the solution finish in. And you want to do the entire plastic. You don't want to just do the stained area. You want to get the whole thing. It's going to need it anyway. Okay. Then let it penetrate. After 20 or 30 seconds, go ahead and wipe it off. And then this is where you want to do the follow-up step, and that's to apply some of the plastic sealant. Okay, so remember, this is just a dye, but you need to put something over the top of that to lock it in. And this provides some UV protection, and it's designed to be used on the outside of the car, so it's designed for inclement weather or repeated washings. Then you let that sit there for like 30, 40 seconds, and then come back and wipe off any excess. And that's how you can remove staining on plastic trim. Faded plastic's always going to be a problem as long as the car is exposed to the sun and as long as car manufacturers keep using these types of materials into the foreseeable future. But the good news is, using the right products, you can restore that factory dark black sheen to the plastic trim on your car. For more videos like these, subscribe to the Dr. Beasley's YouTube channel. Be sure to check out our blog over on the Dr. Beasley's website.